definitely do not try it at home.
No.
But this is how I got my battery on the Bluetti back to life. So it's time, finally, getting to that point where if you've not already been going away in your van and you've not been able to sort of use it, and the kids' holiday is going to be the first time, hopefully all of our tips have been coming together and actually making it so that you can go away and you're ready and you're prepared, ready for the new season. So we showed you previously about checking the year of your caravan. Now it's in the smallest little bits on this one, so
you didn't pick a very good one.
No, I didn't, did I? So on your Chris number, the 10th digit along will tell you what the date or what the year of the caravan is. So popping up now is a little video clip of when we were in the 650, which we'll have a look in a minute, and that was going through and was checking the 10th digit, and then it'll give a bit of a breakdown of how to tell what actual year your caravan is. Can we just check? L. Oh, you've got my phone and I can't look. L. So we've made sure that obviously everything is right with our caravan. Our Chris numbers are correct. We've checked that against our Chris document. So if you've not already registered your caravan with Chris, that's something that you're going to want to do. But also now is a really good time to actually clear your caravan through. Make sure that it's all cleared out, and there's two reasons. We can make sure that it's nice and clean and clear for servicing, and it's a great time to have the caravan serviced now before we have it used. If you've had it already serviced sort of previously, then obviously our little checks that we've been going through and checking all through, which we're going to recap on this video from the very start to the end, it will make sure that everything is ready, but also obviously your service then will get the caravan absolutely as it should be. But even if you've had the caravan service, we can still have things go wrong, which is why we need to do our checks that will be coming along now. So, but clearing the caravan out, making sure that we've not got a load of stuff in here that we shouldn't have done. On Friday's video, yeah, that's another thing, is mice, etc. On Friday's video, we'd said about going through and cleaning the caravan, cleaning it on the outside. So again, if we've cleared everything out of the caravan, we can then get into everywhere and clean it all through. But also, we can check everywhere. We can actually physically go through. We can check our water pipes, so when we start running the water system through, we can make sure we've got no leaks. I think somebody had commented and said, oh, I've got a little drip on my one water pipe. So condensation, we can still get a bit of condensation, but we need to make sure that if we have got anything like that, we've got areas clear and we can see and we can check properly. So all things that we're coming onto. So this was a little snippet from our video from before. We were sort of saying about getting the caravan aired out, getting it ready for servicing, clearing the van out, making sure that we've sort of got rid of all the stuff that's in there so that it can be serviced, and then we don't put all the load of rubbish back in the van again. And then the next snippet then is coming on to actually sort of checking our lights. So we need to make sure that our lights on the caravan are working correctly. We can plug in our electrics, so actually plugging our electrics into our vehicle and checking all of our lights. So at the back we should have the red light, and at the front the clear white light. Now you'll see the lights going on and off. The reason that our lights are going off is on our vehicle we've got to check lights. So it's going to go through a routine and it's going to check all of our lights. So we want to be making sure our brake lights are working, our side lights are working. Now our reverse light, if it's wired in, comes through the grey socket or the secondary part of the 13-pin electric. So if you've only got the trailer lights wired up on your vehicle, or you've only got the black plug, your reverse light will not work. And then we're going to look at our tyres. So again, we want to make sure our tyres are in good condition, and we want to check the tyre pressure. Caravan tyres, so again, 5 to 7 years is about where we want to be. And there's a little box like this one, and this one is 0322. So the 03 is the week. Is that 03 or is it 09? Can't see. But
I think it's a 3.
The first part of it is the weeks of the year, and then the second part of it is the actual year. So it's the 3rd week of 2022. So these tyres are only about 3 years old, not even 3 years old yet. So these are all good, but we still want to have a visual check around and just make sure there's no signs, no big cracks in there. We've not hit the curb and took a big chunk out of it, and then we want to make sure our tyre pressures are correct. Again, the caravan's been probably, potentially, not for everybody, obviously if you've been using the van, you might not have had the van sat there and left sort of thing. But if you've had it in storage, there's a good chance that the tyres will have just lost a little bit of pressure from just literally being sat there. So a good time again just to double check our tyre pressures. If we're not going to use the van for another couple of months, maybe just overinflating the tyres very, very slightly. So we're pretty much somewhere near on the outsides. We can make sure obviously our little lockers and little catches are all working and doing what they should be doing. And then we want to start actually getting the caravan ready. So we want to start putting the electric onto the caravan, we want to start getting the water onto the caravan, and then our gas system. So on this one we're going to show you how to check the year on our gas regulator that it's in date. Regulators, now the regulators tend to have a little date on there. So on the side on this one we've got all the little writing, and hopefully we can see on there a date. Now regulators have to be changed every 10 years. So we're pretty much there now, aren't we? We've got our water system ready, we've cleared all the caravan out, so we've made sure that we've got everything in the caravan that we want and need, but not too much where we're carrying a load of stuff around that's too heavy for the caravan. So we can now actually start getting things through the caravan. We know our gas system is okay, so we can start lighting up things on the gas. Fridge, again, as we'd said in that little snippet there, really, really good one. Even if you're not going to use your gas system, light the fridge up on the gas, a great time to do it. But we can now start to run things on electric as well. It's still cold, and it's still colder than I really like it to be for running the heating system. But it's come to that point where we need to check it, we need to make sure that it's working. So let's get some heat into the caravan and try and pick a day that is going to be not so cold of a night. So if it looks like it's dropping down freezing or getting close to frozen of the sort of overnight, not a great time to actually do it. But if we can, and we're sort of flexible enough to be able to sort of go, actually it's going to be 4 or 5 degrees overnight, that's when I want to do it. If you can't do that and you need to run things through now because we need to be using the caravan, then obviously you've just got to do it. So run your heating system through, make sure that's all working, getting that water through as we mentioned before, and again, try and do that before we put everything back into the caravan. So check all the pipe runs, check our sort of under the taps, bottoms of the taps. As we start to run the water through, keep your seat up, make sure that we've actually got sort of a visible check that we can do, so that if the water is coming through, obviously our drain bung will be in the down position, but when we start to get that water through, we want to be checking all of our water pipes, making sure that we've got nothing, no pipes that have popped out, nothing that is sort of going to cause us any issues. So trying to keep this seat up, where our water pipes are going to run through. So in the bathroom, exactly the same, we want to sort of be looking underneath of our sink pipes, and we want to do a check all the way through. So once we start to get that water through the system, actually physically looking and just sort of listening out, making sure that the pump is doing sort of what it should be doing. Leave the bathroom and the shower off and just run your sink tap so that we get that water through. When we turn this off, we can then sort of then go into the bathroom and then do the shower. We want to do all of those. Once we've got a nice steady flow of water, shut everything off and make sure our water pump is actually turning off. So two things that we need to check is that our Akrol is still full of water and we've got enough water in the Akrol to get the water through the caravan, but we also then want to make sure that we're not sort of got leaks and we're pumping that much water in that it's flooding the caravan. So making a visual check and that everything is sort of looking okay as well. Steady, watch you don't fall over there. So once we've sort of got that water through, we can then start to think about actually, right, let's check our water heater and let's put our heating system on now, and let's just make sure that the system is then pressurised up. Battery in your smoke alarm, so really, that couldn't have come at a better time, could it, that beep of that battery on the smoke alarm. So we want to make sure that our batteries in our smoke alarm and our batteries in our carbon monoxide alarm are good. We need to make sure that they aren't beeping all the time, because that's going to let us know that the battery's getting low. But then we want to hit our test button, we want to make sure that it is actually doing what it should be doing. Very important. Don't have these locked away now in your cupboards. When we're getting ready to use the caravan, we want to make sure our batteries are replaced in these, and both are out, because these can save your life.
That carbon monoxide is so important, isn't
Yeah,
it?
definitely. And again, the carbon monoxide will pick up, so when we've run that fridge on the gas, we want to run it for a good 30-40 minutes with the door and all the windows closed, and make sure our carbon monoxide measuring device, very sort of off on one there, wasn't it? So we want to make sure our carbon monoxide tester, that was easier than a carbon monoxide measuring device, wasn't it? Our carbon monoxide tester.
How much whiskey did you have in your coffee?
Not enough, I'm still cold. So make sure that this is working and operable as it should be, but then run that fridge for a good 30-40 minutes.
And you're heating as well, would you say, on the gas?
Yeah, run everything on the gas, and then try and sort of, obviously we've got our water through now, so run, yeah, your heating, your hot water, all on the gas with everything sealed up, and make sure our battery's good in that, because that is going to give us a good indication. If there is any issues, that should be going off. That will also, our carbon monoxide tester will also go off if we've got a faulty battery. Now, quite funny, last week I said about the faulty battery on our Bluetti. So the Bluetti, I'd let the battery go down too long, and on a lithium battery they've got a battery management system which, once the battery drops below a certain voltage, it literally just shuts the battery off and goes, no, I'm not having any charge from a normal type of charger. So this is definitely, do not try it at home.
No.
But this is how I've got my battery on the Bluetti back to life. So, bit of night time. Well, it's not night time, it's just dark. It goes dark early, doesn't it, still? So we've got an issue with the Bluetti, and the Bluetti battery wasn't working. It had just gone absolutely dead over the winter. So we'd got an issue that I've got nothing working. I've got no lights or anything on the Bluetti. It had absolutely gone dead. Wouldn't take any charge. Plugged into the mains. It didn't basically matter what we did. It just wouldn't charge back up. So as you can see now, I've got panel on the Bluetti, and I've got the lights on the Bluetti, and I've got the charging lights coming on. Now I've tried everything. I've tried different chargers. Now the problem is these are about 56 volts, so actually having a charger that is good enough to charge up and charge up the battery is pretty slim pickings. So what I had got was an electric bike battery, which is 52 volts. So not quite the right voltage that I want, but close enough. So I'm trying to now do this, because this is very, very, very Heath Robinson. This is completely not what you should do, but it's the only way that I could actually recover this lithium battery and get it charging again. And he's actually putting a charge in now, as you can see the lights going up. Now in the back, I'm going to try and get the camera to actually show you the back. I've had to completely rip the back of the Bluetti battery out and jump start the battery. So I had to use my contacts and go direct to the actual battery on the Bluetti, and just put battery or power from the electric bike battery straight to the lithium ion battery on this, and actually boost it, because the battery management system that was within the Bluetti wasn't letting any charge go to the battery. It was sort of saying the battery's faulty, the battery's too low, it's going to get damaged, so I need to cut all the power off to it. So I've had to boost the power up by literally, this is not the way you should do things, and it's only that I've got a bit of an understanding about electronics that I've done it like this, but this is definitely not the way that you should do things, and this is like a big disclaimer: do not do this at home. But for me, I'm willing to take the risk, and I've took the risk, and I've got the battery now charging and taking power back in, and hopefully I can now leave this battery on charge and get enough power back in. I've got 1% back in the battery now. So I'm going to literally leave this on charge, and then my plan is I've got the little charger for the battery for the bike, and once that's depleted this battery, because this battery is going to run out of steam fairly quickly charging up this battery, but I just need to get enough power back in this battery, I can then charge up with the mains into this battery and then fully charge the Bluetti battery, and hopefully by that point I've got the mains plugged into it, so hopefully by the time I've sort of got enough power back into the battery, the mains charger will then have enough to put power back into this battery. But hopefully I've fixed it, hopefully it's working. So remember, do not do this at home. So as I say, definitely do not. The only reason that I've done that is because I've got a fairly decent understanding about what I'm doing, how to connect things up, and how to actually do things like that. So but it's just more so that if you've got obviously your leisure battery, we want to make sure that the leisure battery is good. We can just do the normal check of sort of putting it on using our voltmeter in the caravan without the electric plugged in, and that'll give us a good idea. If we start to put lights on, we can then see whether that's dropping down and dying or whether it's okay. So again, battery is really important, and that carbon monoxide detector is going to let you know if there's an issue with the battery. So we had a battery ages ago that started to smell like rotten eggs basically, and the carbon monoxide detector was going off before we got a smell on the battery.
It was, yeah.
So very important for that carbon monoxide tester to be fitted along with your smoke alarm. And
Going
then,
back to your lithium battery, could you have taken it somewhere to have it re-jumped properly? If you're somebody at home that hasn't got a clue and so I looked at your video and gone, oh my gosh, I'm not doing that, obviously. Is there
an electrical engineer, but the problem is, on that lithium battery, they're 56 volts, so it's not like your normal 12 volt leisure battery, and having a proper charger to actually do that is the issue, which is why I had to use a electric bike battery which was 52 volts. I could connect into that and then go straight onto the battery without connecting into the battery monitoring system or the battery management system, and I could power back to the battery and give it enough voltage. And when I got my test leads on there, it went actually from about 40 volts all the way up to 52 volts in about 3 minutes, and it just boosted that lithium battery back up high enough to be able to let the BMS sort of kick in and go, oh yeah, I'm here, I'm still okay, I'm awake, and then it could take charge in a normal fashion. But yeah, realistically, if you've got something like that, hopefully it's still under warranty. If it's not under warranty, then you can try something like that, but really a proper electrical engineer or electrical company that can do it properly is your best bet.
There isn't like a charger that comes that's stronger.
Yeah, you can get proper battery chargers for that you'd end up still having to strip it all down and go direct to the battery. The problem is with the battery management systems, they won't allow the current then to go either into the battery or out to the battery, because what it's worried about is actually damaging that lithium battery. So it does have to then be stripped down, goes direct to the battery and bypass the BMS, which you need to know what you're doing, and you need to know what's live. They are quite dangerous. In the wrong hands, if you was to short that and that was to blow up, it wouldn't be nice at all. It would be devastating. So like I said, I wasn't joking when I said don't try this at home. Do not try that at home unless you're a fully qualified electrical engineer, which I'm not. So but then saying that, I sort of am, because I've done all my tests to say that.
You've done all your courses,
yeah, I've done all the sort of stuff, so I've got.
So you might even not be qualified, but you sort of are.
Yeah, but not in lithium batteries. But yeah, don't try it at home unless you have got a real good understanding. You know how to trace circuits, etc. So back on to so we've got our battery, we've made sure everything is good. We're going to then check all of our lights. Making sure a real good thing as well is as we've got that whiskey's kicking in.
I was going to say
that whiskey's kicking in. So as we're sort of filling the caravan back up, so leave the caravan system sort of full of water, and leave probably that seat up where we can hear the water pump kicking in or out, and that's a really good indicator to see whether we've got any problems. Once we've got the system full of water and we've got the hot water and the heating and everything all on, leave that seat up. We can start putting all of our stuff back in and out the caravan, but listen out every time that you're sort of within the caravan, cleaning it, doing whatever. Make sure that that water pump isn't coming on and off, on and off, on and off, on and off. If that water pump is potentially coming on and off fairly regularly, and it might be every 5 minutes, it could potentially point that we've got a leak somewhere. So if it does do that and we've got our water pump coming on and off, then checking our system through and making sure that we've got no issues, that is a very good place to sort of go. Really then, it's sort of going through opening all of our windows and blinds, checking our fly screens, so making sure everything's working. These black ones don't tend to get the black mould spots, but your normal ones will. So again, if you've got normal white blinds, checking that all those are working, and again a good time then, we did it the other week, making sure there's no mouldy spots, cleaning those off if there is. And we could get the caravan where it's sort of right, we're clean, we've checked everything, we know now that everything is working and doing what it should be doing. There is still chances of bad frosts, so each time that we've run the water system and we're not going to be using the caravan the next day, or we've not got the heat in the caravan, get that system drained back down again. It's as once we've sort of checked now that everything is okay after the hard frosts that we've had, and we know that there's no leaks, then we can drain that back down again, open all your taps up, and then next time we know that it's ready to actually use. We can then put all of our fridge onto the electric, run it on the electric once we've given everything a good check on the gas, and run all your systems on the electric, and run your hot water. You've normally got sort of 1 kilowatt and 2 kilowatt at minimum, so run it on 1 kilowatt for a good 45 minutes, make sure that it's getting warm, and then put it onto the higher setting, and again make sure that it gets up to full temperature. Leave it for a good hour and a half just to make sure that it's getting up to temperature, and then not sort of carrying on putting energy through. In the 650, I've got a battery on the 650, and I'll show you what we can do in some of the Swift with the proper system, as I call it, of how we can actually check what's happening and what's doing what. So on the Swifts, I'm just going to turn the electric back on. I'll turn our power panel back into the on position, and on this system we've got our power setting, and this will tell us how many ampage we're using on our AC current. So if you select power, little arrow, and then we've got our ampage draw there. So now when we've got our electric plugged into the caravan and we turn our fridge on, so when you put your electric in, you'll get a voltage come through or a current come through that our charger system, without anything else being on, our charger system will start to draw an ampage current. So if we, on a little bit of paper, we write down and we go, right, I've got 3 amps, 1 amp, 2 amp, whatever it may be, 0.4 of an amp, make a note, battery charger is the only thing that's on, 0.4 of an amp. We'll now put the fridge on to mains electric, so we put our fridge on to the 230, and we should get a higher draw on the ampage. So that will then go up maybe to 2 amps draw. So right, fridge and charger is 2 amps for instance. It might be 3 amps, it might be 4 amps, but we'll just jot down what that is. That is giving us an indication that the power is going through and the heating element is actually drawing a current. So we know that when we put our fridge on, if that ampage goes up, we can actually go, right, okay, yeah, that is working, it's doing what it should be doing. It doesn't mean that the fridge is going to get cold, but it's telling us that the heating element is actually working. We can then do that with our heating system. So if we put our Aldi Central heating on, or our True heating I can't get my words out again, it's all like whiskey. We can then choose 1 kilowatts, and we'll see our ampage jump up to about whatever it is. It will jump up another 3 amps roughly, there or thereabouts. So again, we'll note down on the piece of paper battery charger, our fridge, it was using these. Now we've put our heating system on 1 kilowatt, it's now drawing another X amount of amps. So again, it tells us that the ampage on the 1 kilowatt is working. If we then turn it then to the 2 kilowatts, it will jump up again. Am I losing you now?
Oh gosh.
This is really useful information, this is. But what I'm getting at is that we can actually see what ampage that each individual thing is working, and it gives us an idea that the equipment is working. So we can just go through and check our fridge, we can check our heating system, and we can physically see on these Swift control panels that we've got a draw of amps, and it lets us know without even it getting hot on the hot water or the fridge getting cold. It actually tells us that systems are working. So
it's working, but it might not be working.
Well, if you haven't got an ampage draw, it won't be working, will it? So it's just a good way to check. So something that you can check if you've got this system. Some of the other Swifts do it as well, and you can go in and check the ampage draw. But that will tell you, and that's how when we're servicing a caravan, what we'll sort of use. We've got different meters, but it basically does that, and it will just tell you without getting the fridge cold, the heating hot, the hot water hot. It will tell you that the individual items are working. So just another nice way for you to do it. So it sounds like I've been harping on too much here, haven't I?
Yeah.
So that's about it for this week. NEC 18th to the 23rd of this month, so that should be going on now, or starting next week. So if you've not got your tickets, hopefully there's still tickets available. Really good day out for everyone. Go and have a look, go and have a see what there is. We said it on Friday's video. Once you've decided what you want, come and see if we've got it. Have a look at our website, caravanplace.com, and then come back from us. Hopefully that has been not too informative. It's just sort of got us to a point now where we go, right, okay, we've checked everything on the caravan, we've had another little check that we could do there to make sure different things are working, and we're ready to go on holiday and not be thinking, oh, I don't know whether that's working, or I don't know whether. We should be able to just go on holiday and enjoy it, and that is hopefully where we're at now, that you can go away, the light is lighter of a morning, it's lighter of an evening, we feel better, we can go on holiday.
Drink some whiskey.
So that's it for this weekend. Thanks for watching on Mark at the Caravan Place, and we'll see you next week.